All right, it's time for Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Fuhad. This is the show where we look at the major issues in the political space. It's nice to be back on the show after, I think, 2 weeks of staying away on official duty, actually. And, of course, I've been following the show. Special thanks to Mobola Sandra, who has done a fantastic job, trying to hold it down while I was away. Also, cannot thank by Sakoti Sadiga enough. I know and Joseph Alonso, who, of course, ensured that we get the best of conversation when it comes to politics, governance in Nigeria. Today is going to be a bumper package. I have Sakoti Sadiga in the studio. We have Nordin Adigno in the studio, and together we're going to be looking at three major issues. Again, it was almost difficult for me aggregating the major issues in the political space during the week. A lot happened, really. A lot has been happening, and the way Nigeria is structured now, it's almost like an hourly thing. You're dealing with one issue before you know the next one is there, and then there's a lot to deal with. But I think the most important one, of course, will be to look at the log jam, if you permit me to use that word, the brouhaha between EFCC and Yahaya Bello, the White Lion himself, of Kogi State. He says he's the White Lion, and so there's a whole lot that has happened in the last 1 week or 2 weeks or so between the EFCC, that's the Economic Financial Crimes Commission, and the former governor, the newly passed governor of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, Governor Yahaya Bello. A lot has happened. We'll try to, of course, take a look at what has happened, do a summary of what has happened so far, and then, of course, our focus would be the legal aspect of what has happened. We're going to look at morality too. What are the moral issues around what has happened so far? And then there are also procedural issues. People have talked about procedure. There are questions as to how the EFCC should have approached the issue, whether they are approaching the issue right. People are talking about media trial, or whether this is indeed a witch hunt or not. So, we're going to be from those three perspectives: the legal aspect of the issue, the moral aspect of the issue, and what procedures have questions on how the EFCC has approached the case, or even the way Yahaya Bello himself and his team have been approaching the case. So what are the legal, moral, and procedural questions around the trial of the former governor of Kogi State? That will be the first issue on Political Roundtable today. The second one, the Dali State of Barrister Curtis is in the news, and it's important that we raise some of these issues because, again, for people who understand the way politics is played, there's never a smoke without fire. So when you hear that something happens today, it has been brewing a long time ago. So you keep seeing these things developing. It's always a developing story. We've been talking about the frosty or almost frosty relationship between Reverend Father Isent Aliyah, the governor of Benue State, and his supposed political godfather, the current secretary to the government of the Federation, Senator George Akume. Again, something happened just this week, and you have the governor making a statement that we should talk about, and that's the fact that the governor of Benue State, Reverend Aliyah, is saying you can't destabilize my government. And that's a blanket statement to all of the former governors of the state, because he didn't mention one. Although this response is coming from a statement that was recently made by one of the former governors, that's Samuel Ortom, that's the immediate past governor of Benue State. But I think it's a statement, that is heavy, that is pregnant with a lot of meanings. And what we'll try to do today on the show is to dissect what is really happening in Benue State. What are the intrigues? Who is fighting who? Why is Governor Isent Aliyah throwing such an open statement to everybody who has ever ruled the state in the past, maybe in the recent times and in recent past? But again, we'll look at what is happening in Benue State and try to make a political meaning from what the Reverend Father is saying. And then lastly, we'll go to Rivers State. Rivers State, Yesom Wike Fubara. A lot has happened again during the week. You have the Rivers State House of Assembly that's continued to flex its muscles, overriding the governor, vetoing the governor, and passing bills upon bills. But yes, in what people have termed a smart political move from the governor, similarly Fubara, a redeployment happened of some commissioners, and those ones have now resigned. And so After the deployment, Rivers State commissioners loyal to Nyesom Wike have resigned, and so we ask ourselves, basically the question is Fubara winning the battle? We know there's a battle raging. We know there's an ongoing battle. Did we underrate Fubara? Are we seeing somebody who now understands how to play smart, or something has happened suddenly and he has suddenly gotten himself back on track, and so his survival instinct seems to be working for him? So those are the three issues we will be looking at on Political Roundtable today. Mainland 98.3 FM, EFCC versus Yahaya Bello. What are the legal, moral and procedural questions around the trial of the former Kogi governor? And then you can't destabilize my government. Benue Governor, that's Reverend Father Aliyah, once ex-governors. What is really going on in Benue State? And then lastly, after redeployment, Rivers State commissioners loyal to Nyesom Wike have resigned, and then is Fubara winning the battle? We have Barrister Curtis Adigba in the studio. We have Nodin Adegbero in the studio, and it's nice to be on the Political Roundtable with some of I have the right to say they are the best of political analysts we have in town, really, if you understand the depth of facts they bring into the conversation here on Political Roundtable, Mainland 90.3 FM. Barrister Curtis Adigba, it's nice to be in the studio with you this evening.
Thanks for having me, and welcome back.
Yeah, I went to a city where we are told not to say anything.
I hope they didn't bring you back anything.
No.
Whatever happens
in Las Vegas stays in Las Vegas. So we've been, it's a rule.
Yes.
And I don't intend to break the rule.
Yes.
Because the things my eyes saw.
Don't break it, because next time they won't let you leave.
Because the things my eyes have seen.
Honestly.
My tongues cannot tell it
that
all.
Place.
Yes. So, but it was a nice experience, really. It's always good to see the other side of the world, not leaving the earth. I'm not saying that, but again, it's like to see what happens on the other side of the Atlantic.
The funny thing is, they're making a lot of progress.
Yes, of course, yes.
In spite of
all the shenanigans that you may think is happening there, yeah.
But in our own place, they'll tell you it's ancestral spirit. Not allowing us.
No, there's no ancestral spirit or anything. But it was a nice experience, really. Seeing the beautiful city of Las Vegas, and I see most parts. I think I was able to see about 4 states in the United States, and of course, it brings a lot of reflection.
Where did you go?
Yeah, at least we saw Washington D.C., San Francisco, California, yes, and then of course Las Vegas. And it was beautiful to see. And of course,
close to Las Vegas is also Arizona.
Yeah, beautiful country, really, a massive, beautiful country. A lot that we'll talk about on another day. But for Las Vegas, whatever I've seen stays in Las Vegas.
Yes.
Nuri Nagbe, is nice to have you in the studio.
Well, good evening and good evening to our listeners, and welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Even before you come back, Barrister Curtis has said that
I won't say anything.
when you come back, you should not say.
You're not going to say anything.
No, it was a rule, really. It was a the thing is that as they welcome you into their city, the rule stares you in the face. As you are saying, he won't say anything.
They have one of the strictest taxi laws.
Yes.
In the United States. You can't carry more than three passengers.
Yes, more than 2 at the back, 1 at the front, basically.
Even if you're a family of 5.
There is nothing you can.
When I was going there, I used to either pay for limousine or pay for.
The limo can take about 6 or 7, yeah. Yes. But for normal cabs, you just take 1, really. But again, that's one story we'll talk about. I saw things really, but beautiful city, I must say.
At least I saw beautiful houses.
Beautiful houses, beautiful roads, good infrastructure. But the other ones, I've left it there.
Betting, the headquarters of global betting.
They say I should not say anything.
No, that
everybody knows about that, really. Because the betting culture in that city amazes me. The
what
betting
they say
culture.
you should not talk about, we know it.
Okay.
So don't
but for the betting culture, I think I can say that. All right. Well, let's just go straight to business, because there's a lot to discuss, really. I've been seeing the lines buzzing. People should please just calm down. We're going to open the phone lines. It's an interactive show, so definitely we're going to open the phone lines to take your calls and contributions. We're streaming the show live on Facebook and YouTube, so you can also be a part of the show on Facebook at Mainland 98.3 FM, also YouTube Mainland 98.3 FM. Of course, you can drop your calls and contributions on the 2 platforms. Be rest assured that definitely I'm going to take all those contributions on the show today. The first one, EFCC versus Yahaya Bello. I'm going to take it from the issue of the school fees. Let's just start with that, because I think there are 2 major issues, really.
No, I think people don't understand actually what is going on. because there's been a lot of distortion.
Yes, disinformation. Yeah, definitely. Disinformation, basically.
The
Yeah.
press. So I think it's important that we lay bare the facts before
Yes,
before we get to the.
I have a reason for starting this way, because again, in opening it from the issue of the
School fees
that has not been refunded.
Anticipatory school fees.
School fees, yes. We will be able to now dissect into the issue.
Remember, Chuba Kadibo gave anticipatory approval
For contract.
He lost his presidency of the
Yes.
Senate.
I'm actually, this is the first time I'll be hearing that people pay school fees in advance. You pay ahead. The Economic and Financial Crimes Commission have confirmed that the receipt of the refund of $760,000, so that's confirmed by the EFCC that the school has now refunded the money, paid as advanced school fees.
After debiting some money.
So we are going to take that.
845,000.
We are going to get to that. Paid as advanced school fees by former Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello for his children at the American International School, Abuja. The spokesperson of the EFCC, Dele Oyewale, confirmed the development to several media outlets. The school has refunded the entire $760,000 to the EFCC's recovery account, he said. Earlier, the American International School of Abuja had asked the EFCC to provide authentic bank details for the refund of the fees paid for the children of the former governor. Bello allegedly paid $720,000 in advance as fees for 5 of his children from the coffers of the Kogi State government. The children are in grade level 2 and 8 at the school. On April 17, the EFCC operatives laid siege on Bello's residence in Abuja in an attempt to arrest him over an alleged 80.2 billion naira fraud. While the operatives were at the house, Usman Ododo, governor of Kogi State, allegedly arrived at the property and reportedly whisked Bello away. In a letter addressed to the Lagos Zonal Commander of the EFCC, the school said the sum, now this is the issue, the sum of $845,852 has been paid in tuition. So it's not $720,000. The money that was actually paid was $845,852, has been paid in tuition since the 7th of September 2021 to date. So it's not a recent money. It has been paid since 2021.
13,000, 19,000.
The 20, then the bulk money came. So the AISA, that's the American school now, said the sum to be refunded is $760,000 and $10 because it had deducted educational services already rendered. So whatever has been done, you can't get the whole thing with. Some of them had been taking it doesn't come out like Las Vegas. So the school said it will draw the attention of the Draft Agency if there were any further deposit by the Bello family. In a statement signed by Greg Hughes, that's for the school now, Ali contacted the school on February, that's Ali Bello now, contacted the school on Friday 13th August 2021 requesting to pay the family school fees. That's the current chief of staff. Imagine. A member of the former governor's family, immediate family, now the current chief of staff to Usman Ododo, that in February 13 August 2021, he requested to pay the family school fees in advance until the students graduate from high school. And I would assume that these are people that will tell people of Kogi that you should tighten your belt. Things are tough.
If you see pictures of some secondary schools and primary schools in Kogi, you will weep. They sit under trees.
Is that one even enough? There is no teacher in Kogi State for 8 years.
I'm sure I am sure that in that state, these individuals at some point will be in public telling people that, look, please tighten your belt. Things are tough. It's not easy for everybody.
I said there is no teacher that is a teacher in any state
school in Kogi State.
In Kogi State that collected full salary for even one single month in 8 years
of Yahaya Bello. Now this is it. I need to reiterate this, that this is the school saying it, that this same person, Ali Bello, a family member, it's a family thing now, contacted the school on February 13, 2021 requesting to pay the family school fees in advance until the students graduate from high school. That's I think to 2034, 2035, right, if you do the calculations. The chairman of the EFCC, Ola Olukoide, had earlier revealed that the former governor transferred $720,000 from the government coffers to Bureau de Change before leaving office to pay in advance for his children's school fees. Olukoide revealed this during an interview with journalists in Abuja recently. He said a sitting governor, because he knows he's going, moved money directly from the government to borrow the change, used it to pay the children's school fees in advance, in anticipation that he was going to leave the government out. In a poor state like Kogi, and you want me to close my eyes to that under the guise of I'm being used by who at this stage of my life. Now, Yahaya Bello has responded. I just want to take this out. We can have a very beautiful conversation. Now, Yahaya Bello has responded through his media aid to these particular allegations. Before we now go into the attempted arrest, what has happened with the Kogi State High Court, ruling that it should not be investigated, or and all of those things. Now, in response to this accusation, the embattled governor released a statement signed by Ohiare Michael, which included several crucial details to the said record. I want us to pay attention to their response to this allegation. He said the statement titled "Payment for School Fees, Setting the Record Straight." You have a way of setting records straight, even though at the end of the day the records are never straight. He said, partly read, again, this is just part of what he said. The most important part said, "While we reserve our right to seek redress against the said defamatory statements, permit us to briefly state the following for the purpose of setting the record straight. His Excellency Yahaya Bello's children have attended the American International School, Abuja, well before he became governor, and he has paid fees for his children as and when due without failing."
So as and when due.
Yes.
So why is he paying for what?
Why is he paying for?
No. The first paragraph should tell you that they have the money.
They don't know what they're even talking.
When they now want to leave the office,
he paid it.
when they have to
Wait now. He said the first is on record. Let you people know. You heard that the man has had his children in that school, not be today. And he has always paid us and when due. So paying is never the problem.
Why is now paying?
It's me reading what I didn't say. Now he said His Excellency Alhaji Yahaya Bello did not pay the sum of $720,000 as alleged by the EFCC chairman, or $840,000 has been bandied about on the internet. So we ask ourselves, which money did this school return?
Your money.
No, I'm just saying.
Let me tell you something. The one funny thing with our people,
this is the age,
especially our politicians.
Yes.
That's Bello writing, not his.
Yes, in writing, telling us what he wants.
Even when they lie to you,
yes,
and they know they are lying, and they don't believe they lie,
they
want you to believe
by force, by fire.
Yes.
Okay.
They want you to believe it.
They want you to make yourself stupid to believe their own lie.
Yes.
Even though they themselves don't believe their lies.
Don't even believe it.
But you must believe it.
You have to believe it.
Okay, all right. That's a very good one. Now, the statement continues. It said the payment of the fees was not effected. Now, this is somebody saying he did not pay the 720 or 840. So it could be the figure really. Maybe it could be more than that or less than that. Okay. So I think basically this is addressing the figure. But he said the payment, there was a payment that was made. The payment of the fees was not effected at about the time His Excellency was to leave office, as claimed by Mr. Olukoyede, but same commenced in 2021. So because the EFCC man said this was paid when he was about to leave, when he said the payment had commenced is 2021.
No, the man said he made the payment of
720, yes,
when he was about
to leave.
Now, if you look at the letter written by the American school,
yes,
it was carefully crafted.
Yes.
Not to let too many things out.
To show that they have received more than the 800 and something.
Yes.
Over a period of time.
Yes, because the children were there, so school fees has been deducted over time.
So it is a lump sum. That's one that came in lump sum.
Exactly.
That we are talking about here, because that one came in lump sum. So you can't calculate since when they've been in the school from 2021.
Yes.
But this particular lump sum, they are ready to refund.
That's
okay.
That's why they are saying, you see, in their statement, that they are making deductions for educational services
that have been rendered so far. So but this one, they never use them.
The one in the future,
we will refund that one because they never use this one. Okay. So it's a matter of English now. So why is the media getting himself confused?
No, he wants to.
It's deliberate confusion.
No, he wants to confuse.
You know the president.
Those people that need to be
confused. Tinubu
is
a popular speech in Abeokuta. He says he's not a professor. He says understand English. We will know the professor,
but we know what we know. Okay, so let's just take
this one.
Alhaji Yahaya Bello did not pay. That's the statement, because he said Alhaji Yahaya Bello did not pay the fees of his children with monies from the coffers of Kogi State government. I think, if he had made himself available, I'd be needing to defend that.
No, you should go and say that to the
I
court
know
now.
his farm in Kogi.
Okay.
That's where the money is
Coming from. Okay, all right. He where the farm dollars.
And the person, and you should not even forget, maybe he remove it from the nearly collapsed transport line that he has before he become governor. That nearly collapsed. That even the one in Agege is only one car.
No, you would have moved on from being in transport.
Now is
Is there big money in transport?
What you say?
Public transportation, is there big money?
Corporate one, no.
Okay, but so let's just conclude so that we can. Then when the EFCC approached the American International School Abuja to legally recover funds legally paid by Yahaya Bello, what they are saying now is that, look, what the EFCC has done by approaching the school to recover the funds is illegal. And by other family members. So Yahaya Bello and other family members, that's what they are saying. A member of the family challenged the EFCC unlawful act to recover funds legitimately paid. The FCT High Court has that case already. That's what they are saying. So I say that we don't waste too much time. They have gone to court and they think that, look, whatever the EFCC is doing by hounding the school or quote unquote harassing the school to release the money is illegal, since a family member had gone to court challenging the right of the EFCC to want a refund of that particular money.
There is no order prohibiting. There is no order of court
prohibiting the EFCC from recovering the funds.
Restraining the school from refund. You see, American International School is an institution that belongs to the American system. And they are bound by the protocol in terms of foreign engagement. So one of the things that no American entity abroad is supposed to engage in is to be involved in money laundering. And it's clear that this is a money laundering scheme as far as they are concerned. You notice that they didn't even put up a fight. As soon as it got to their attention, they were willing to refund the money. They just asked for an account to put that money back. But I think beyond this, beyond the refund or no refund of anticipatory school fees that were paid ahead up for about 7 or 8 years. I think what the Yahaya Bello and EFCC issue objectify for our country is that we have leaders.
Morally speaking now.
Yes, let me start from the point of
morality now,
that there are some leaders in this country who have no conscience. Their conscience has been shared with hot iron. They have no perspective as to what is right and what is wrong. They are only driven by their dark interests. And they feel that because the society is also so wonk that we cannot think for ourselves, just because some people get paid pittance and they go out there to defend what is indefensible publicly. Like I see some very senior lawyers, professors of law. Now let me break the whole thing down. Now, who in Nigeria today will stand up and say, I can hold up my hand and swear that Yahaya Bello did not do certain things that were wrong with public funds as governor? You recall that before the election that brought him back for second term, this man approached the president and asked for intervention fund. If not, the APC was in danger of losing Kogi. The president approved 30 billion. Recall that PDP christened that fund as campaign fund.
Funds, that was deliberate. The timing. They questioned the timing.
Thank you.
Why the 30 billion very close to election?
But what happened thereafter? The EFCC under Abu Rashid Bawa, traced 18 billion of that money that was fixed with Sterling Bank. Yes. And that money eventually was moved to the central bank, meaning that the man used only 12 billion.
And then kept that one.
And then he went home and was paying civil servant 30%, 40%, 50%.
Mr. Curtis, somebody had shared with us here on Mainland FM is a payment receipt, salary of 4,000 naira in Kogi State.
And then he went lying, first of all denied that the money didn't belong to him. Eventually they came around and said, oh, it was an investment for Kogi State government. So Yahaya Bello knew that they were building storms around him as far as corruption was concerned. And that was why he went to court to get an order
That's
restraining the EFCC from arresting him. He simply lifted a page from the playbook of Odili.
Yeah, Peter Odili,
Former governor of
Rivers State. Yes.
Of course, you know that the EFCC is in court trying to vacate that order and all this way. But here is the interesting part. After he got that order, the EFCC also approached the court,
the Federal High Court in Abuja,
and got an order to bring him in for questioning.
That's legal.
Yes, and he has refused. That's why you hear the Senate President or the President of the Senate saying,
questioning this idea of
and where did he get the order from? A judge who had worked under him for 8 years, a judge he appointed, a local High Court. High Court judge
give that order.
Now, do you know of any decent society where national law enforcement agencies or institutions can be stopped from performing
from these kinds of
critical rules or responsibility? Now, if that can happen, why do we need the police? Why do we need the EFCC?
If institutions are going to be stopping them from doing their job?
Yes, because all I need to do once I commit a crime,
go to court and
get an order to restrain them from calling me for questioning or even from arresting me. So what happened was, there was an attempt. They had invited him. He did not honor the invitation. The chairman of EFCC said he contacted him personally, which was supposed to be against protocol. But I don't know which protocol he's talking about, because when you are investigating somebody, you can talk to them. So he called him, and when the man said, "Oh, there's this senator that has planned to embarrass me,"
like
I think Senator
Natasha.
And so it's okay, don't worry. You will use my gate. Those who are going to interview you will come to my office and meet with you. He said, "Why don't they come to my village?"
As the emperor of
yes. This was something they have been preparing for. So they got a lot of people to fan out. Different TV stations, professors, senior lawyers all over the country.
We know how it works. Yeah.
And what was the focus of the issue? It was about the procedure.
The procedure now.
About the procedure, not about the substance
of the matter.
In all this, nobody is talking about the amount of money that is involved. Nobody is talking about the destruction to the lives of people in Kogi.
They keep talking about that High Court injunction.
Let me tell you something about this country. The only time you hear about fundamental human rights as part of the argument, the only time we talk about procedure not being followed, it's only when it has to do with powerful
individuals.
Yeah. All over our prisons, they call them correction centers.
People are still waiting trial. Yeah, for years.
Half of the people have no business being there. But you will not hear our law professors talk about their fundamental human rights.
But the big ones,
you will not hear the senior advocates and the
speak for them.
You will not hear about social media influencers talk about these Nigerians. Some of them accused of stealing phone, not up to 50,000.
Awaiting trial.
Awaiting trial. You never. This argument is only made when the big man is concerned.
The big monsters in the room.
Do you also understand that the EFCC has a very good record of conviction when it comes to cyber crimes and other criminal activities?
And the big thieves.
But when it comes to politicians, their performance is so dismal, and you begin to wonder. So this is what is going on. He knew and he prepared himself. And then I hear people make this argument. Oh, even in the United States, Trump is facing trial. So why shouldn't Bello be allowed to go to court?
Trump makes himself available for trial.
You see, when people are bent on lying to justify what has happened to them behind the scene, they cite examples that are irrelevant.
Are not even relevant to the issue.
In all the cases that Trump is attending in America, they first of all started by indictment.
That's guilty.
By indictment. The Department of Justice made the allegations. They took it to what they call the grand jury. The grand jury went through the allegations and indicted. The next step is to call upon President Trump to bring himself in. He came in, they took his picture, and then to the prison, and then he was granted bail. In all the cases. Now, this is what the EFCC wanted to do with Yahaya Bello,
but our courts
that
have.
he will not even answer, he will not even respond to their civil invitation to be heard. I heard the argument of fair hearing. Where is Yahaya Bello going to get fair hearing other than the EFCC
invitation, the opportunity to defend himself,
your own
side of this information we have about you?
Now come to court. You say no, I'm afraid that I'll be arrested in the court. Do you understand what I'm saying?
They will take my picture.
And I hear this.
They will take his picture in court. And so what's the big deal?
This journalist will be mush.
So you know the tragedy of all this. Bello speaks to one fact, that yes, the young people are not too young, are not too, they talk about not too
young to rule.
It speaks to the fact that the young people are not too young to misrule. Because you see, there is no more, that argument has disappeared. Oh, that we want much more younger people.
Young people.
The problem here is that Yahaya Bello is acting like he's above the law. I've even heard the argument by some of his supporters that the president is the one persecuting him. I don't know if it's
that one has started. So because of that,
this was the same Bello who campaigned so much for the president.
Yeah, after he won the nomination of the party. Yeah. I think he even donated his campaign office to the.
Yes.
You know, it was in this very studio that we said in Nigeria, corruption has a religion and it has a tribe. And I'll give you just 3 examples. When Ifeanyi Ubah was accused by the NNPC of diverting fuel
that was stored with him, and he sold it
after he had been paid, Ifeanyi Ubah had not even come out to deny the allegations made against him before Haneze Ndibo issued a statement. Ifeanyi was being attacked,
persecution is an Igbo,
trying to destroy the business of Igbo people and all that. And
even he has not even responded to it. He himself didn't even deny the allegation.
The only one when former governor of Taraba, Reverend Jolly Yami,
yes,
and then that of Plateau,
Joshua Dariye,
were also arrested, tried, and jailed for corruption. Again, we had statements from their people and their religious organization saying, "Oh,
it was persecution.
Who are corrupt? How come no other governor from the north?"
And when they were pardoned, they rolled out the drums for them in their own states.
So you see the point that I'm making? Because of this trickle-down system, when people steal, they either go to their religious organization and make some donation to them, and then there's a trickle-down effect of that corruption, or they go to their places, either the local government,
and do one or two so-called empowerment. They call it empowerment. Yeah.
But in the case of Kogi State, there is a tribal dimension
to this issue.
You know that before Yahaya Bello became governor, the politics of Kogi had been dominated by the Igalas.
Yeah.
They are found in the east of the state.
Yeah.
They produced Abubakar Audu as governor.
Yeah.
They produced Idris.
Wada?
No, not Idris.
Idris.
There's an Idris that was there for 8 years.
Yes, yeah.
And then Idris
Wada came
in. Now, there was another attempt by Audu to come back
and then
against Wada.
Yes.
Wada. And you know that Yahaya Bello contested for the primaries.
Lost out and then
and moved to Labour Party, picked the ticket of the Labour Party, then endorsed Idris Wada for the
against
election. That election was won by Audu
and died at the last minute of announcing results. Yeah.
And for whatever reason, nobody can.
Even up to that calculation that brought Yahaya Bello as governor,
in fact,
nobody has been able to explain it.
If you look at the electoral acts, if you look at the
permutations,
there was basically no basis. But Yahaya Bello became governor, and now to the Ibira people of Kogi State, Yahaya Bello, after his second term, succeeded in bringing another Ibira man.
That's Kogi Central.
From his own place.
That's Kogi Central.
So the calculation is that even if Ododo stays there for another 8 years, all right, plus Yahaya Bello,
that's 16 years,
they would have equaled the Ghana 16 years. And so he's their champion. Even if it meant that he emptied the entire treasury of the state. That's why you see those videos of them celebrating, don't touch our white lion. People will hear it if they touch white lion. But you know
and then what has happened to that? That same Kogi Central, has there been any transformation?
Nothing. I drive through there to go to Benue. So you know what? Let me tell you something. All that Yahaya Bello needs to do is to go to the EFCC and answer these questions. If you have nothing to hide, you don't run away from the law. There is no reasonable human being on the face of this earth that he's told that the EFCC or the police wants to speak with him, that he will go and be running away if you have not committed any crime.
Even if you have committed
and even if you have committed crime,
it's available.
We know that all it takes is Yahaya Bello will be questioned, maybe 1 or 2 pictures of his will be shown. The next 3-4 days is out. The big lawyers are there waiting. So what is the big deal?
So no, that's the question. What's the big deal?
That's the big deal.
Because we've seen former governor of Ekiti State, he even did a t-shirt. He said, and he picked his pillow, picked 1 or 2 things, and said, look, and today he's a man walking free. The case has been there.
Has not ended.
It's been there for God knows how many years now.
The case of
It has been there.
Still fresh.
Then Oji Zokalu, of course, the Supreme Court eventually set him free.
Until the Senate,
Akpabio is there. Then Willie Obiano recently, he has gotten his passport back to travel on medical grounds. So why do you think Yahaya Bello? Because with all of what has happened in the past, the fact that people, former governors, they broke his door, they broke everything, broke through the roof. At the end of the day, he got to court. He's still a man walking free. The case is there just lingering. So with all of those records of the fact that, look, the big boys have a way of, weathering the storm, why do you think Yahaya Bello has decided to go this route of, back and forth, to the extent that it was alleged that the current governor had to come and pick him away, and then you have for me a more embarrassing situation of the white lion now hiding off somewhere, because whether we like it or not, he's somewhere hiding.
Firstly, you see, Nigerians, the kind of people that we allowed or being voted for,
that we vote for,
to be in the, journalists don't vote on that day of election. We are working. So
you want to exonerate yourself?
No, it's Nigerians that voted for them. I didn't vote, and you didn't vote.
You came from Afghanistan.
No,
it's okay. We understand.
Because my vote is not there. I know Sandra did.
Well, you have family members that was voted.
But no, we did not vote because we are on ground.
But I'm sure you have family members that voted.
Yeah, surely.
So
but the thing
it issues more.
But the thing here is this: we have this caliber of people that
you begin to wonder.
They get to the position of authority, they believe they are better than any other person. We have the kind of people like Yahaya Bello all around. That immediately they get to the one particular position. One of the things that is making Yahaya Bello to run, because
why is he running?
He knew that if EFCC should call him today,
good,
and he's been put in custody within 24-48 hours,
yes,
he will put to court, and they will get his bail even from court.
And so why is he running?
But one of the things that's making him to run is the one
that you think will make him to run.
He feel within himself
that is why he's above the law.
That is bigger
than the law.
That one is one. Then 2, it shows the epitome of arrogancy in the manner, the way he talks, the way those people managing his information are talking, and also maybe because he put Usman Ododo as the governor, he believes that he's the first governor
to produce a successor.
That because it is APC is our party, we know how we fought to bring this particular president into whatever. I know nothing is going to, and if you know nothing is not going to happen to you, automatically what you just need to do is just go and face it and you'll be bailed. Then another thing again is this: majority of our politicians, majority of them are not healthy. Majority of them are not healthy.
When you say healthy, I don't understand.
Healthy in times of health-wise. And he knows that one of the best.
When you talk about health, it can't be a Yahaya Bello. We've seen pictures of him doing rigorous exercise that even younger people cannot do.
Rigorous exercise does not make you
boxing.
No, you are just looking outside. You don't know inside. Maybe he has some certain drugs or some certain deities.
They will allow him to use it.
Maybe he has some certain deities. He has to. Yes,
he can bring that too.
No, maybe he has some. No, he can't be deities to EFCC custody. That he needs to feed. That if he doesn't feed them in a day and it's been put in custody, so it's going to be very, very difficult.
Okay, I understand that you are finding difficult really understand why he's running.
But one thing that is
So we have to talk about deities now.
one thing, yes now. Maybe he has some deities.
So my boy,
Either you know,
you must put palm oil on their head every day. So if they keep him at EFCC custody, you will not be able to do that. Okay,
because
it's not impossible.
yes. And another thing again
Arrogance
is
is part of
another thing is there is this.
That is Yoruba only to man taposi lori every day.
Look at the leverage. Look at the steps
Mm.
that the EFCC chairman has gone. In fact, he has gone against the rule. That because only somebody you are investigating that is not wrong.
To a private conversation and all
But at the
that.
same time, when you are not the investigating officer that is investigating, you see, the man still call Yahaya Bello, and at the same time still giving him a leeway that coming through my gate. Although that is how police normally do. They will say, you just get up.
You don't want to ask you one or two questions.
I understand.
I'm sure within 1 hour to go
One
here
thing is that country to now send them to come and meet me
in my village. I thought they would have gone to his village really, because it would have been an opportunity to arrest him.
I can.
Unless they will kill them in that village.
No, with the way he's going, I can do.
It would have been difficult to get him in the village.
I can get permutation that maybe if they have to search the governor's house very well.
If you see a state,
Maybe he's there.
if you see a country that is dysfunctional,
Completely dysfunctional. I agree.
that's Nigeria for you. Don't forget that even the policemen that prevented his arrest should be the one to arrest him.
Yes.
On the normal.
No, because they have been paid by the state.
They just tell you sorry.
And let me tell you, until we take drastic steps in this country, we are not moving anywhere.
I agree with you completely.
There is no law, either the constitution or any bylaw, that says a governor of a state is entitled to policemen to police protection from the state.
Yes.
It's just protocol. That very day that Ododo went to do that thing,
Remove all the.
they should have removed all his security aids.
I followed him to do what to do.
If you put your immunity on the
Online, you make a mess of it.
they make a mess of it.
Then you face the consequence.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's not the first time. You recall that there was a time when there was an attempt, though we found out later that it was an illegal attempt to arrest Justice Odili or to search her house.
When the house was broken into another.
And she's not the only one.
Yes, Governor Wike also did the same thing.
In the middle of the night.
Two policemen there to rescue her.
Yes, the same thing. So if people who have immunity are beginning to use state funded
To interfere with
those people should be withdrawn. Now the second thing you also should worry you is the fact that Yahaya Bello understands perfectly how Nigerian system,
how dysfunctional the system is. Yeah.
He believes that if you go to the press and muddy clean waters, Nigerians will say, oh, the EFCC is trying him in the media. But the point is, the EFCC as a public institution has a duty to explain to Nigerians
What is going on?
doing what they're doing.
Especially because of the backlash.
Exactly.
There was a lot of disinformation. And information management requires that sometimes you address some of the issues and talk to people. Yeah.
Who accused the police of trying Evans the kidnapper in the media?
Nobody knows.
He's not a Nigerian. He has not. He doesn't have fundamental human rights.
They are the Yahoo boys.
The only difference.
What of the Yahoo boys?
The only difference is that he was not the former governor. The Supreme Court, the highest court in the land, in the case of Gani Fayemi against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, said even immunity does not protect a governor from being investigated.
Yes. Even when you are having that immunity.
You can investigate them or keep the result.
But I remember that when the current president, as former governor, had this code of conduct tribunal case.
He went there.
He submitted himself there. He went there.
Exactly.
Today the story is history. Nothing happened. He went there to defend himself. What's wrong with Yahaya Bello? Why is he running?
I
like to ask that question again.
Yeah. So it's running because only like James Hadley chase. Only the guilty are afraid. That's one. And then in the Bible it says the wicked run it when no man chases. Again, but beyond all that, this is a guy who is arrogant.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this
Have you
question.
seen that video when he said, "I'm not going to respond to any nonsense"?
I can see a Kogi person calling already. If you calm down, Comrade Ogbanago Mohammed. I know he's interested. I will get to you.
And they said all kind of things. Again, we must not lose sight of the biggest problem here, which is that the easy access to public funds by public officials. We said here, if we can tweak our laws or build more guardrails around public funds, for instance, like we said, as it happens in the state of Texas and some other states in America, where you have plural executive system, everybody has to be elected.
You bear your father's name.
We are even right now as I speak to you, there are 3 Supreme Court justices of a state in America that are up for election, and the judgment that they are given on abortion right is being used against them. So as long as we have individuals appointing others and they can fire them easily, just imagine all that happened in Kogi State. Do you think that if the Commissioner of Finance was an elected member of the ESCO,
he would defend his own life?
The governor will call him and say, go and transfer X amount of money.
No.
He will do it because he will be accountable to the people.
Yeah.
So what this speaks to is that you run a dysfunctional system. A system whereby law enforcement agents can't even call a serving of former public officers to come and give account
without the courts, without I think they now understand how to run to the courts.
Yes.
Professor Chidi Anslem Odinkalu has been consistent about the complicity of the judiciary. He's been writing articles upon articles, and I think you can't fault Professor Odinkalu's argument about a complicit judiciary when it comes to the fight against corruption and even the shenanigans we see in our electoral process. He's been talking, for example, he talked about what happened in Plateau State, the miscarriage of justice, where the appeal court ruled on the matter that had precedents that had been there, and look at up till now,
it's
still there. It's ongoing in Plateau State. They've not still been able to resolve that crisis in Plateau State as we speak.
Nothing has happened to those justices.
The justices that did all of that.
Nothing has happened to them.
And Professor Kalu was able to trace some of these things to the fact that look, some of these judicial officers have leg and relationship and some of
with
these
the politicians.
Of course, we know that.
On this same issue of Kogi State, he's been trying to talk about the judge that has given this particular order on the basis of fundamental human to the extent that the court is even now telling the EFCC chairman to submit himself for content of yes.
But you know what? In our system, we have inbuilt subsystem for dealing with judges who have abused their offices.
But can the system itself?
Look, a lot of bad judges have been purged out of the system. It's just that the process is slow. You understand? The National Judicial Council exists for that purpose.
If it is slow, then it's not effective. It has to be effective.
So this is the reason why. Now, some of these judges go as far as taking this risk because of the compensation that they have received behind the scene.
That will be huge.
So even if they are dismissed,
they won't lose anything.
Of the system.
They won't lose
They
anything.
have nothing to lose.
Don't forget. So they just check, weigh the options.
Remember the days of Tonzeribe and Association of Better Nigeria?
Yes.
How they got those orders midnight to truncate
the June 12 elections.
Exactly.
Midnight.
It's still going on. Now, and for someone
and thank God that despite that court order, midnight to when we're going to conduct the elections, Professor Onwosu went ahead to conduct the elections.
And then they persisted until they got that election
annulled. Yes.
This has been going on. CGN after CGN has given warning. Some people
about some of
have been thrown out. But you see, what is at stake is so attractive compared to the punishment
that will come.
That these guys will continue.
So even when you chase them away, they know that look, at the end of the day, I'm okay with what I've gotten.
I will not get for the whole 60 years.
I think we should conclude this particular part of the conversation this by asking ourselves. I like to ask, gentlemen, where are we going with the fight against corruption? Are we on the right path? Are we making any progress? Is there any hope really that the Nigerian state can really tame the monster of corruption? Again, just aggregating the issues around the EFCC and Yahaya Bello. Are we making any progress? No,
we are not. We are not. In fact, if you want to look at what has happened over the years, even from 2004, that particular act upon amendment, we will not go anywhere. If our environment is still like this, then too, if we did not give EFCC the free hand, the capacity, the capability to arrest anybody they want to arrest, then we are not going to go anywhere. Then another thing again is that if we are doing selective judgment, and also with this type of our judiciary, especially the judges that are selling court orders. Especially the court of the same jurisdiction, you will see different court order perpetual
on the same issue,
on the same particular issue. Even a case that have a precedent in court,
they do something else.
You see what if we continue this, then another thing again is that the body language of our president is also very key. No matter the name we want to give Muhammadu Buhari, his body language does not support corruption. That does not mean that his own government is free of corruption, but his body language does not. We want to see this current president to show us that within the time that he has been running away, if DSS and all the security operatives, he will have marshaled them in order to safeguard the rule of the law. So that body language, we have the body language of the president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is going to be speaking directly to the Yahaya Bello that I want this guy to be brought to justice within 24 hours. He must be able to face the court. But we will not see anything, and nobody is talking even within his party.
I think that will provide fuel for his
For
fire.
people that are saying that his witch hunts, his persecution.
Also, that will also create the impression that the president is
investing. Well, it's even so much invested in that case. Yes.
If you have a proof of, if you have a proof for that, you should not. So during the time of Obasanjo, whenever any name you want to give Obasanjo, New Ribadu has a mantle. You can say whatever you want to say. What is important is that does he steal Kogi State money? Does he pay in advance?
He has the opportunity to really defend himself.
I think why we are talking about this is that he has refused to take the opportunity
to defend himself,
and explain his own side of the story. But having said that, I don't think that the president should make a statement about it or get involved officially. What the president can do, if he needs to do anything at all, is to speak to Yahaya Bello one-on-one basis and say, I think that for the decency of our party and for the image of our party,
why don't you submit yourself to
and answer these questions.
And the national chairman
the president
yeah, that one has a case too.
But again, we must also understand that the president also promised to deal with corruption. That's one of the things he said to Nigerians while campaigning. But having said that, I think that it's also very critical that we understand that most Nigerians do not hate corruption. Most Nigerians are not against corruption.
It's only one is against them.
What they hate or dislike is that they are not the one
beneficiaries.
Now, when they take the benefits, then it's a blessing.
Yeah, and they give all manner of excuses here.
And give all kind of blessings from heaven, a breakthrough, they call it. That we must also understand. And then we must also understand that those who are in power or who have been in power also know that Nigerians don't hate corruption.
No, but Sakura, are you surprised as to the number of civil society organizations, lawyers who have appeared on different media platforms to speak in defense of Yahaya Bello, basically on the issue of procedures and fundamental human rights? Are you shocked?
Were highly orchestrated.
Well planned.
Even journalists.
Listen, are you not a Nigerian citizen? What is your interest? Why have you not been to other? I know a lawyer who has been to over 6 TV stations, making the same sort of argument about procedure, about fundamental human rights. Why is the EFCC doing what it's doing? Let me tell you.
Whereas Nigeria goes down under heavy.
I need to hold the opinion that all that we have seen are past movies. But I will tell you something. Can you imagine Nigeria as it is today without the EFCC? What do you think will be the state of corruption?
No, it's just free reign. It's just.
You know what they said in my place? An injured lion is still a threat to other animals in the bush.
No matter what, we need the EFCC.
Because you see, the mere fact that even if you don't go to jail, that the EFCC can embarrass you.
The embarrassment and the back and forth.
It's enough for some decent people to behave well. So I think that the EFCC as a body needs the support of Nigerians to do their job. Especially this young man, I believe that he means well. When I heard him that day, people said, oh, he went personal. What was he supposed to do?
When some media attacks on his personality, you will not go personal.
I mean, people don't understand that sometimes the enormity of these things that these people do
the consequences
can break you as a human being. Look at you and I on the street of Lagos looking for money to pay our children's school fees.
Someone
is abusing public office by paying upfront. and you expect anybody who is decent to take such things.
The shocking thing is the fact that people come in throwing different arguments to begin to rationalize the issue of procedure, and I'm like, you can't fight the scourge of corruption when you have people coming up with these kinds of arguments.
Those people
that they don't understand.
No, let me tell you, those people want to be like China, develop like China,
but they don't want to do what China is doing.
They want to eat omelette, but they don't want the egg broken. They want to be like European countries, where they will go through the water to even get there, even if they die, let them die in the process. But when you talk, they say, this is Nigeria, as if we... And
they're expecting the same thing that has happened where corruption has been killed completely, dealt with, to happen where we are just romancing corruption and glorifying. And anyways, we hope that we'll continue to follow the EFCC Yahaya Bello case. It's a developing story. I think we've been able to dissect all of the issues, and
you saw all the places where they gathered and were praising him.
Yeah, of course. Yes.
You saw the rusty zinc.
In areas where there are no roads.
When I made that comment, one of them said to me, "Oh, you don't have rusty zinc in Benue."
So, of course. Some were even carrying placard and they could not even spell single words.
No, I said we have a lot of rusty zinc in Benue,
and they're happy.
And it's due to people like Yahaya Bello and his counterparts all over the country. So,
it's really unfortunate the way we glorify and romance corruption and begin to defend it. Like you said, when the lesser quote and unquote thieves allegedly face some of these things, nobody speaks for them, nobody argues for them. We ban them to the filling stage, just take care of yourselves. But here, the big monsters in the room, we keep coming up with all manner of arguments and all of that. God help the soul.
They can afford to pay for it.
They can afford, definitely. They have their machinery to oil the wheel of disinformation and misinformation. Well, it's still Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. My name is Saheed Fuhad. We have Barrister Curtis Adigna in the studio and Nuruddin Adigna. We've touched on the issue of EFCC Yahaya Bello. We've looked at the legal side, the moral side, and some of the procedural issues that have been talked about. Now we're going to Benue State. I think most of our conversations are around the north central part of the country. I'm interested in this one because it's the old state of Barrister Curtis Adigna. I think it's been a developing story, really, right from last year's election, where Reverend Father, against all odds, really, where Reverend Father Yahaya was declared winner of that elections. There's been a lot of back and forth between the governor and his supposed political godfather, as the current Senator Governor of the federal government, Senator George Akume. Now, Governor Yahaya of Benue State has advised former governors of the state who have nothing positive to contribute to the state to shut up. That's his words. That's the way he put it. And allow him deliver on the promises he made to the people. He said those who govern the state in the past have had their time and should allow peace in the state to enable work for the people. The governor, who spoke while addressing members of the APC, the Riders, Benue Rider Coalition for Ali and other groups who come to welcome him back to the state after his working visit to the United States of America, said his government will not relent in its commitment to the well-being of the people. He also cautioned those he said were in the habit of addressing Benue youths as talk, saying it was totally unacceptable, and demanded a public apology from those making the derogatory comment. So again, this comment is coming from the backdrop of a recent comment made by the former immediate past governor of the state, Samuel Autumn. I think he celebrated his birthday, and in that, at that particular event, again, you begin to wonder politicians, the way they double speak. And I was shocked when he first said that, look, his mentor, political mentor, still remains Senator George Akume.
He's looking for something.
I'm coming, sir. And I said, so when I saw Autumn Akume, I had to go and check, because I know that severally Autumn and Akume had been in serious battle. There have been different allegations, counter allegations. So I'm like, okay, PDP, APC, Akume still my mentor. And then it was in that same event that I now was advising Reverend Father Yahaya to quickly go and mend fences with the SGF. And that, look, those were his words. Those teaching the government against the SGF are not doing him any good. And I think maybe that's what the Reverend Father was referring to as former governors. But Barrister Curtis, I'm sure you can help us, make a meaning from what has been happening in, again, let's just start with what the governor has said. What's happening in Benue State?
You know, like you rightly pointed out, when people suffer from self-imposed amnesia because of interest, they will always make a jest of themselves before the vigilant public. Now, you recall that Autumn was Minister of State for Commerce before he resigned and went to seek a governorship
election,
state, the ticket of the PDP. And he lost that ticket because the then governor, Suswan, opted to give that ticket to the Speaker
of the Benue State
Assembly. You know, in pursuit of this self-preserving agenda,
or bringing a successor.
When you are going,
you bring a successor,
and then it can cover up for you. Just like
Wike, Fubara.
Like I wanted to say during the Bello's case, even the $760,000 that they have given back to EFCC now, you know, ultimately it will go to Kogi State. Because if you follow the example of James,
they say they don't lose, but they are not looking for money.
You know, in Delta State for Ibori, the court in Nigeria freed him. They helped us to jail him in the UK.
The court in Benin discharged him of 32 charges.
All the charges.
Only one of those charges of the 32 that was dismissed caught him in London.
And he was jailed because of just one in the UK. And when he came back, the same Delta State that said none of our money is missing.
But you know,
they wanted the money back.
But the money they gave them.
Yes.
So, like I told someone, the Bello is all this drama is even.
No, that's what I was asking. Why is he running?
At the end of the day, even the money when it's given to Dodo.
It's possible to say, Oga, you see it.
So what is going on in Benue was that when Autumn couldn't get the ticket of the PDP, Akume assisted him in getting the APC's ticket.
Okay, yeah.
And it was on the basis of that he was elected governor of
Benue State.
Now, after first term, or in the course of his first term, he had to disagree with Akume on policies, on sharing of the loot or whatever was at stake.
There are too many allegations really about,
and at the end of the day, Akume accused him of antagonizing the president and the government of Nigeria. On the other hand, he accused Akume.
There were so many allegations. I was shocked when he said this is my mentor, because there are several accusations and counterbeat from both personalities.
It got to a head that on Channels TV, Autumn once said to Mr. President, he said, I am leaving, I've left the door open and I'm waiting for the party to take action. What was the action? The party should call Akume to order,
yes,
or he will leave, because he said, I don't have any problem with APC.
In 2019, Autumn actually even called on the EFCC to probe allegation of 2 billion naira that was stolen by George Akume.
So we know. And then what happened? Autumn now leaves the APC, where he was being left the APC. He was being courted by Wike and Yahaya constantly going to Benue then, and he joined the PDP. He rejoined the PDP.
The PDP went back to the
and
PDP.
Defeated Akume's candidate. Became governor and was there for 4 years. And for 4 years that he was there, the relationship between him and Akume was that of cat and a rat. And then all of a sudden he loses. His candidate loses. Speaker.
That's Autumn.
Yes, so he's out in the cold.
So early, 8 years as governor. How cold can that be?
Let me tell you what happened.
8 years.
What you don't.
Just 1 year after.
Let me tell you what happened in this country. Do you know? Apart from one or few of them, you know, who continue to feed fat on some states. You know how many former governors today are poor?
Very poor.
Former governors.
Yes.
Some of them are so poor because, you know.
Are we talking about?
Listen,
in this Fourth Republic?
The funds, whether it is first or second or third, fourth Republic.
I'm actually more particular about the Fourth Republic.
Yes, because you see, the funds at their disposal.
When they are in government,
it did not come from any business, and so they're used to spending big money on so many things, and the funds don't keep coming.
You'll be spending the one you have.
Spending the one, and they are not investing. And don't forget that because of the source of these funds, they can't even use them openly.
They have to continue to.
Some are kept with individuals who have disappeared with them. They can't talk.
And some are just.
It's like when a thief is stung by a scorpion. Will he shout?
Shout, okay.
Because people will get to know he's there, and he shouldn't be there.
or maybe they need some form of protection, so they want to be at the corridors of power. Maybe.
Thank you. So now it's in the code, and so what does he do? He comes back and he says,
he used to rub the ego of George Akume. Yeah,
Akume is my godfather, just because he understands that Akume and the current governor are having a very difficult relationship. And what is the problem? The man says, I don't want you to control me.
Let me run this.
I don't want you to dictate to me how the funds coming to the state should be shared. I want to use the money to work for the Benue people. Benue is the least developed in the north, according to him, and he's doing very well. He's paying salaries as and when due. He's constructing roads. He's building new infrastructure and all that. So what you see now is a gang up of those who believe that it is their entitlement to continue to feed off the resources of the state.
So they can actually work together now.
Exactly. So it's not about, and this is where they are better than those of us who are poor Nigerians. Why disagreeing with among themselves? They keep their eyes on the ball.
Don't lose sight of the ball, which is the treasure of the state.
What is it that is coming to us from there? But you see, for those of us who are poor and hungry,
to fight, disagree, talk.
And they will never fight.
Why those we are fighting for?
Block ourselves on Facebook,
align and realign.
Thank you. So this is what, and I mean, Aliyah has got the support of Benue people behind him.
At least for now.
Yes, he has got the support of Benue people, and that is why he's talking tough. You have been governor. Akume was governor for 8 years between 1999 and 2007.
The first set.
Who dictated to him? Suswan was governor for 8 years after Akume.
Nobody dictated to him because he had the first relationship with Akume. Also, yeah.
Then came Otom.
Same thing for 8 years.
So even before he ran because he did not want people to dictate to him.
Yes. So why would they not allow? And let me tell you something. People said, oh, if not for Akume, listen, Aliyah would have been governor in spite of Akume, not because of Akume. Akume is a wave rider. He saw the wave, the direction of the wave,
and just followed the wave,
and he just glided on it. He knew this guy was so popular because he had his missionary activities around there,
and the ability to reach out to people,
and all that. So my appeal to the governor is to focus on governance and allow these people to continue to run their mouth. We know why they are doing it. There is a need for them to come together now against the one who is not allowing them access. All he wanted was to plant his man there, and then he will have his third term. Just like what you see, what is happening in River State, what is happening in Kano
and other places. Yeah. Okay, but Nuruddin, people have been saying Reverend Father Isent Aliyah may have the people behind him, but he needs the political structure to also work with him. And when they talk about political structure, they are talking about Abuja. Whether we like it or not, our politics is structured in a way where you can't do away with presidential powers. And then you have a George Akume, who is the current secretary to government of the federal government. He has the ears of the president. He works within the presidency. He has Abuja in his hands and palms. And that if Reverend Father Isent Aliyah is not careful, he could run into serious trouble if George Akume now decides to go after him. Because again, whether we like it or not, you have both men that have been a bit diplomatic about this particular relationship. But do you think the governor should just damn the consequence, focus on his job, win the people to his side, and eventually, maybe survive whatever is going to come?
Well, we have a president that is astute
politician. Yeah.
We are talking politics now. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu can sacrifice anybody if he wants to go for re-election. Especially, he can sacrifice anybody for who is going to give him vote Benue. So if Benue people are behind Governor
and the president knows that,
and he knows that,
will work with him,
he will surely damn the consequence. That one is one. Then two, Governor Aliyah has won one war that people don't know. He has taken over the structure of APC in that state.
Of course, yes. Even with I think the state assembly was able to put this person as speaker.
And if you have done three things as a governor in your state, one, your party is under your belt. 2, your House of Assembly,
at least to a great extent.
to a great extent, if you have the majority and if you are the one controlling and they don't give you headache, that means they are inside his pocket. Then the third one is a governor. The resources of the state is with him.
Still belongs to him. He still has it.
He's not sharing with anybody. Then automatically he has had some certain power. Then another thing again that is so germane is this: with the structure he has in the state, I'm telling you, if a governor have the political structure of his party in the state and he has funds to work with,
and he has the people behind him,
we have seen it severally. Kayode Fayemi, when he was a governor, the person that our current president wants to succeed him did not. But what Kayode Fayemi has to do is to use his structure that he have in the state. That one is part 1. Then 2, we had the news before Akeredolu won his second tenure.
That he was not really here.
So, and because he has the structure
and the people behind him, he won the second time.
It has even happened. Then another thing again that is so certain is this: that so far he has the structure of the state, he may not think of moving to another party. So what he's going to do now is what Barrister Curtis has said. He should continue giving the dividend of democracy
to his people.
Have a reach to them. The kind of humanitarian job he has been doing, he has continued it as a governor. So if he continue that, putting infrastructure, having schools, having healthcare,
at least dividends of democracy to people. They should not bother really.
What is going to happen is this: if people care and they line up behind you, and one thing that our politicians, with the level of voting that is going on now, we may not have gotten there, but with the way we are going now, if people are behind you,
will definitely.
And Peter Obi has already shown that even to Lagos residents, and it's still going to be in the book of history in Lagos. So if people are behind you, whoever that comes against you is going to lose.
Okay, all right.
Let me tell you something. This same Akume that has become so powerful because he's secretary to the government now, was a minister under Buhari. When Otom disgraced him.
Yes, he was a minister. I think he was a minister of special duties and intergovernmental affairs.
He wanted to go back to the Senate. He lost to somebody who was even unknown in Benue.
Akume messed him up completely at that time.
Otom messed him up.
Otom messed him up. Yes.
So if Otom that couldn't pay salaries was struggling almost through.
Let me ask you about Curtis Adigba. People have been asking me this question. I think for almost 8 years that Otom was governor of Benue State, the only thing he kept doing was shouting about bandits, about killing insecurity.
Yes.
And I think one or two occasions we saw him sharing wheelbarrow.
Ended up running faster than guns.
Let me ask you a question. Was there any major infrastructural development that Otom did in Benue State? Roads? Because again, we never saw him commission any project, unless I'm wrong.
I will answer you with one. When can you be free for you and I to go to Benue? I'll pay your way through. So
are we going to use the road or fly?
No, we'll fly.
No, we'll fly.
We use that piece to Makodi. I'm serious.
I can't use the road.
No. I'm going to buy a ticket to us. I want us to go.
Because again, we can still judge him by what we see on ground. It's just 1 year further I sent earlier. So we can still look at 8 years.
There is nothing.
On ground.
Nothing. When you look at the resources that was available to him, even to pay salary was a problem. Yet politicians walk into his office and there was one popular saying in Benue that you can't walk into his office and come out without money. They give you envelope 500,000 and all that, and he couldn't pay salaries. So the same Akume that he told Nigerians was a paper tiger is now so big.
He said he's his mentor. He means his mentor,
yes,
and
of course you know why.
He had glowing tributes. He was just.
He now understand that Akume
can make a mind
in government. These guys can't stay out of government.
The one that G5 cannot provide.
Yes.
Akume will provide it.
What the G5
cannot do, Akume can do.
G5 can give transport.
But don't you think?
The FCT minister is in position.
But don't you think the G5, some members of G5 are just too self-centered? Because if you are saying that Otom has been left in the cold, he's just there in the cold on his own.
It's not the only one.
I'm coming. Because if you look at it, So Makinde has just, he's doing his thing. Wike has said, but why are they leaving their friends in the code?
You know, it was in this studio I told you
Yes.
something, that the problem with our politics is that people think about themselves. They cannot rise higher than
Primordial sentiments.
sentiments. They cannot stand up for things, for causes that are greater than themselves. Do you understand? So you now have PDP governors, the G5 saying we support the president and we will work for his re-election, but we are still in PDP.
They attended the next meeting.
You understand what I'm saying? You see, the truth of the matter is that these public officials, when they leave, they never have enough money to keep up their lifestyle.
So they have to just remain within.
They have a retinue of aides and supporters and structures.
And they have to continue to wheel and continue to,
You wake up every day, people are waiting for you.
Because that was a routine while they were in power.
Yes, Your Excellency, my son is sick.
The calls keep coming.
My wife just gave birth.
And they want to remain relevant.
Yes, so they want to keep, and then they want to keep that structure. But the truth of the matter is that once they leave public office, that power, the control, and the funds are no longer there.
As free as
begin to
so they just want to get back into government.
Today, I can say to you proudly, today here, and quote me anywhere, none of those guys can go back to Benue and defeat Adalia, if you understand how our politics work.
All right, well, it's the Political Roundtable, mainland 98.3 FM. We've been able to look at what is going on in Benue State. We've touched on EFCC Yahaya Bello. It's a developing story. Yeah.
Sandra, who used to be a strong supporter of Philip
Shaibu.
And told us all kind of
about Philip Shaibu. That was a man that used to be, a full supporter of Philip Shaibu.
The same thing is happening in Benue now. All the people that used to call Autumn, our role model.
They are now with Yahaya. They don't move.
They just left the station already before Autumn came.
The big boys are doing it too. It was the young man, the lawyer that speaks every time. I'm trying to remember his name now. What was his name? No. The young man that moved from PDP that was working for Atiku that's now. What's his name?
That one Ruben about to say
he has moved his shop. He has moved his shop.
It depends where the market is moving.
He told it to his face now.
Yes.
He laughed over it. No, I think Reno is still looking for something.
No,
what he's looking for? No, what he's looking for, we don't know.
We know where he's looking for.
He has come out now.
He has
come out to say I will not support the president in 2027. And you know why he's saying that?
No.
Since I've been doing all this,
he's not good by my side.
You know that.
So maybe that's a bigger statement to now say, I'm still waiting to call you now. Calm down.
At least he needs a picture before the seat of power.
I will be taking picture. He will be taking picture all that.
We understand the strategy really.
He has even changed his dresses to more of Yoruba than anything.
Which is also a statement. The hustle is real and strong too and tough. Well, we'll go to because again I can see the lines buzzing already. We'll go to Rivers State and Governor similarly Fubara has come up with something that people are already talking about in the political space. They call it a smart strategy, and that is already looking ahead. It's already being very futuristic. Now, the Rivers State Attorney General and Commissioner for Justice, former because he has resigned, that's Professor Zacchaeus Adagno, SAN, has rejected his redeployment to the Ministry of Special Duties, Governor's Office. How do you explain that? Attorney General to Special Duties, Governor's Office.
That's a euphemism for no position.
Special duties is simply there for special duties domicile in Governor's Office.
Yes,
don't like. I want to be seeing you as you do.
I think people say that Fubara is playing smart strategies. I don't think it's really smart strategy
for now, or you think it's not?
Because you see, it's caught in between wanting to implement the agreement.
Are you sure that agreement is implementable from what we are seeing?
Well, you see, and
everything, I'm not saying parts.
You see, sometimes you need to let people know where you stand. I said in this studio that in his shoes I will not take those commissioners in the first place.
But you think the president would have summoned him the way he was summoned, and in that kind of setting, again, this is He has never been governor. I'm not making breaks for him. I'm just saying, you know, you have the president summoning you the way he was summoned. I remember that one or two persons who were in that meeting talked about how the president spoke, you know, and really talked down on him. Were not there, allegedly. And the kinds of words that were used, that look, if not for what I thought, we knew what. So do you think he could have resisted or rejected the offer that was given to him, or the instruction that was given to him?
I think it's Fubara's personality that is at stake here. And that is the most critical factor. Because let me take you back to 1999, right? When President Obasanjo talked down on Governor Tinubu, he didn't take it.
He stood his ground, yes.
He stood his ground. Don't forget that Tinubu did not elect Fubara. Fubara was elected like Tinubu was elected.
By Rivers people.
Yes, yes, their sphere of influence may be different, and that of the president is bigger, especially the bully pulpit that he enjoys, the power, the resources at his disposal, the command and influence over security agents and all that. But again, don't forget the fact that he is an elected governor of Rivers State with all the powers of every governor. So it is important that they understand, because you see, these people, like we said here, when they were governors, nobody dictated to them. Nobody. In Lagos here, the grand old fathers, the Fanifere leaders,
they were all shoved aside everywhere. Baba Gani Daudu and the rest.
That was appointed Commissioner of Information, and he was out speaking against his father's group
because he understood what could come.
In River State, Wike ran out of people like Amechi and go out of the state. He tolerated orderly because he said he was a political godfather, but now they are in different camps.
He said he's not working.
In fact, he unilaterally, without, he just instructed the House of Assembly to pass a law recognizing Celestine Omehia as governor, as former governor, so that he can pay him all his allowances. Now he says he never won any election, he's no longer a governor. You can't govern people by impulse, dark impulse. It has to be your way or the other.
No other way.
What I think is, and we're going to see more of these moves as Fubara consolidates.
Because again, the Attorney General, I think, is what we are really talking about. That look, it was just a very smart move. He wanted the guy out, and now look, I did what the president wanted. I brought you guys back, but I have the power to resign on your own. And people have said that.
You know why he moved against the Attorney General?
Yeah, I'm coming consistently. You know, the State House of Assembly has been moving against him.
That's the reason why he moved against the Attorney General.
And I think what he has said is that look, in all of those moves, they are already suspecting that tomorrow there could be a move for impeachment. It's not Chief Justice, yes.
Of the state. But I think why he moved time, they pass a law and the governor withholds assent, then they override that assent and makes it a law. But who is going to implement the law anyway? It's the governor.
Because what the Attorney General has said is that look, you know, again, the reason why he said look, I just have to go is that in recent time the governor in the last few weeks directed him not to defend, oppose or appear in suit in any case. And what he's alleging is that most of those cases are instituted by the governor himself. So I think he wants to be in control, really. Is that what we're saying?
Again, the governor has a right to seek and hire lawyers who are in private practice to defend the state.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be Attorney
General.
The Attorney General has got more responsibilities. His number one position is to defend the laws of the state, is to advise the governor, guide the governor. Do you understand?
Legal matters, yeah.
So the governor, if the governor is saying, don't go to court, I don't want you to appear on behalf of River State, but I still want you to do your job, you understand? By the way, let's forget all these sentiments about Wike and the governor.
What is the
governor has the prerogative to assign any commissioner. He can
anywhere.
appoint and he can fire.
But no, that was the issue for me, really. That look, if you say these guys should be reinstated as cabinet members, and their loyalty is not to the governor, their loyalty is still to somebody in Abuja, how would they have worked together?
Not take them back in the first place.
One thing there is that I think the personality of Fubara is the one creating all this. Fuhad, if I happen to be Fubara and the president called me the way he called me, because he's the president of the country, I will respect him. Whatever he says, I will not sign anything. I will say I will go and think about it. What I just want to do is to buy that particular period of time. And I swear, even if at the end of the day, either by state of emergency or whatever, they remove me.
It will be very difficult, really.
But those ones, they will never come to the. In fact, if they like, if the House of Assembly likes, they should not approve any commissioner I will send to them after that. I'll be working with special advisor and special advisor and special assistant. And one thing that is there is with what he has done now. Another thing again is that one of the strong things as a politician that Odili has, that everybody knows, is the handle of law. He has a lot of, apart from his wife, he has a lot of, and we know what happened to the cases that brought Wike first tenure and second tenure at the Supreme Court. We know what really happened at that particular time. So now we are seeing some certain think tank that have been created for Fubara, and what they are doing now is this: they want to gain the ground that they've lost.
At least take control, take charge of the government.
One of the things they do is that they will use a tactics we call frustrate them. They will resign. When they resign, look for another people that you are going to send. But mind you,
they will be working.
They will just be working. They will be working as a commissioner, collecting the money for a special advisor, but they will be acting
and doing the job.
So that one has done. Then another thing again they want to do is this: with this particular reshuffle and distribution of all these people, what happened is this: we know how they normally call the chief judge of the state. The head will straight. So if he can guide against the third hand, which is the judiciary, it's going to be very, very difficult. He will continue being the governor. He will continue his own activities. Then another thing again is this: thank God that even if a budget is not passed, there is a limitation of what he can spend. He will make sure that he's guiding against the rule. But one thing that is there is that the politicians that I know, the House of Assembly, it will not go like this. You could see, apart from the man that he made to be chief of staff, we still have one or two that are sympathizers.
Of course, yes.
What if one of them institute a suit time frame? So automatically what happens is this: if that is go to court, we want to see a court that is going to really give a judgment about House of Assembly that cross-carpeted without the division is in his own party, that move and show, and there is a video and evidence to it. With that, they need to just unstable the other camp, and that is what the think tank, I can bet it that there are some think tanks somewhere
working with the government
seriously. What they want to do, they want to unsettle
the other side,
upper side, which is the House of Assembly. If they can do that, I can tell you, he can get 1 or 2 or 3 that will run away from the other side. I'm
looking at the River State House of Assembly by Mr. Curtis Adiba, and recently, consistently they've been vetoing the powers of the governor. They pass a law, they want him to ascend, doesn't they veto it? Several River State Traditional Rules Amendment Law. Who's going to enforce it? It's not the executive that will enforce these laws. So no, but the one of the Local Government Amendment Law,
that one is
where they, because again, I think what they want,
conduct elections.
They want the elections to be conducted.
Yes.
And we know that basically it's a political strategy. The local governments are like the local structure, really. Why do you think they want? Because again, what they are trying to do is to stop the government from having the powers to have caretaker chairman. Instead of, they want him to conduct the elections. What could have been the strategy? What are they looking for? These assembly members.
The strategy is to conduct local government elections now, and not to the headship of the local government.
Those people are at the local government level.
Yes. So what is good. You remember the chairman of Obiako local government,
yes,
who was calling the governors some unpredictable
names. Yes.
Was eaten with the place at that particular time.
Yes, and at some point, I think somebody advised him, and he came out.
He apologized and all that. Yeah.
So these are local government chairmen that sees themselves as more powerful than the governor, because they knew him when he was an accountant general, and then
they have this connection to
how humble he was before their king and the master, the former governor, and today, but they don't understand something.
Because I'm looking at local election and the influence the governor.
The governor decides when that election will happen.
The state assembly they are trying to take over the power.
Who's going to give fund?
Who's going to fund it?
Who's going to fund it? Who is going to constitute it? The state INEC that will conduct the election. This is not within the power of the national state assembly. These people are poor students of power dynamics. In Benue, we say that no matter how young your child is, if you put him or her on your shoulders,
he's going to be taller than
he becomes taller than you.
Again, to buttress,
that's how power is.
to buttress what you have just said, the State Assembly, one of the issues that they recently vetoed the governor was the constitution of the State Assembly Service Commission, where they took away the powers of appointing people to that commission and handed it over to the Real State House Assembly. And whereas the governor has said through his commissioner for information that look, you can do whatever you want to do, but those people you appointed, you pay them their salaries by yourself. I will not pay them. Because you can't usurp the power of the executive. The executive are supposed to appoint these people, so you just appoint them, screen them, appoint them, but the money they pay them yourself.
The ants got together and said was overthrow the elephant,
and he's looking at them.
and they were gathering themselves at the gate of the elephant's house. And for years they kept gathering and gathering. And each time they gather, they look at their size compared to the elephant.
So this is no ratio.
Let's look for more ants. That's exactly what is going on.
All right, I like the analogy of the ant and the elephant, and because
he said today, I'm not going to be on my news.
He said it.
Yes,
and he has always talked about his green biro too. He still has the biro.
Yes.
And that biro can do wonders.
And it's a lesson
Yes.
to all outgoing governors. Allow the process to run freely. You know.
All right, Political Roundtable, Mainland 98.3 FM. It's been 1 hour 30 minutes of brilliant political conversation by Mr. Curtis Adigba, Nuruddin Adigbero. We've looked at the EFCC, Yahaya, Bello, the legal, moral, and of course the procedural angles to what is happening currently. We have also touched on Benue State, Reverend Father Isent Aliyah, and his battles with the former governor. He said, look, you guys, we have nothing to say, nothing to contribute. Can you just shut up and allow me do the job? You had your time. That was the Reverend Father talking tough. I think he doesn't even talk like a Reverend Father.
He doesn't have the first lady.
He's like a man of war, you know. He's like a man of war.
He's the boss keeper who's
Of Benue State.
the epidemic
Himself, and the pandemic of because
the war himself.
The war himself, right? Because
He stands for war.
He's honestly from day one.
He's 57 years old.
It's not. If you tell me, it's not just.
Now 58.
But the fact is that I think he's a man that is not.
I think
he's not a Fubara strike.
But look, this is somebody who has always shown the capacity to be different. Even as a priest in the Catholic Church, it's had some turbulent times.
Yeah.
And look, these facts were not unknown to Akume, but Akume felt that, you see, each time they go to recruit people to run for offices, uppermost on their mind is how can we use them to our selfish interests. And this is what this is what is failing right before their eyes, and they still won't learn any lesson. As the secretary to the government of the federation, is the president breathing down on his neck? Who told him he's even the godfather of Benue politics? Are the votes, Benue people's vote in his pocket?
Have you noticed something about the 1999-2007 set when it comes to governance at the state level?
Yeah.
The governors of those era.
They are emperors.
They feel that because they were the first set, everybody. What? Again, let's go.
It's to those that were
Class 99.
Class 99. Yeah, that's class 99 set. All right, it's we'll start to pick the calls now. 09136000410 09136000410. You can also drop your comments and contributions on our Facebook platform, Mainland 98.3 FM. We'll take all the comments, definitely. Hello, good evening.
Good evening, Fad.
Yes, good evening, sir.
Good evening to your guest.
Yes.
Yes, thank God for this program.
Your name, sir.
I think very enlightening.
Your name.
Yes, my name is Moses from the last time.
Okay, Moses from the last time. Okay, please go on, sir.
Yes, I think issue of Bello. The media should be. I think some of the media should be blamed for it. But they give Bello, then all sorts of awards and call him White Lion. I never seen White Lion before. It was Nigerian media. I gave all sorts of awards. Both electrical and print media. The man, the governor of this for this year. The only governor of this year, Nigerian media. So we are in trouble about the Nigerian media, not to know. I can't go for what you are doing now. And the judiciary. We are in trouble. What's that? We are in trouble.
All right.
I want to thank you very much for this program.
Thank you very much.
Moses.
Thank you. Yeah, God bless you too. All right, 09136000410. Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Yes.
listening to the contributors there.
Thank you.
There.
Thank you.
John from Mobile.
Oh, Mr. John, how are you doing, sir?
Fine, sir.
Okay.
You see, Oga Fuhad, I think we are not, democracy is not for us, okay? No, that's just, when Aristotle said, like, Opayemi said there, that we saw democracy for the people by the people, but not people like us. People that are divided in every strata of life. People that are of the base mind. How can somebody still make him billion? And we have some people that are defending him, coming to, with the state of problem we are facing in Nigeria now. As I'm speaking to you in Oba here now, no like for about 3 days.
You are bandit.
And business.
You are banji.
No, that is not. Our business are crumbling. And somebody has stolen 82 billion.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Why is he running? He calls it a white lion. It's not a white lion, it's a white chicken. Honestly. No, that's the truth of the matter. When you see a white lion in documentary, it's a very rare thing. You don't normally see them, and they don't run. In fact, they are protected by members of the lion family. But this one now, and based on the fact that they are special in every aspect, they are not corrupt. Just like this one, and the people are supporting him. I have not seen this type of society.
All right, 0913600410. You can also drop your comments and contributions on our Facebook platform. Mainland 98.3 FM, YouTube and Facebook will take all the messages. Hello, good evening.
Very good evening to you.
Yeah, Prince Wise, good evening.
Thank you, my dear. God bless all of you.
Amen.
My name is Prince Wise. Now,
are you coming from a word of it or from a different location? Okay. All right.
So what do you mean? For me, it is careful now. Can you come out? You can come out now.
Self-imposed detention.
Just imposed detention. If he show up anyway, he's going to be arrested like a common criminal. Somebody was saying a major trial. I love this major trial of this man. Now, my anger is this. After the ICPC, the next is court of law. The matter there is to talk. Now your file data is saying, it's so terrible. What is happening now? The case is pending. Let's separate special correctional cases from normal confessional cases. We want to get our money. We are talking of investment. What of government capital today now? More than 80 billion taken away by.
But Prince Wise, I like to engage you on the issue of special courts. Even if we set up special courts, we are not going to bring aliens or import people to come and run those special courts. Don't you think we will not still get anywhere with special courts?
It is because only the example. Formerly, 1999, for electoral cases, it took more than 3.5 years. But eventually, another law that is 6 months. We go to the year before we do something of the case that is what I'm asking for. There is a court that the Department of Special Court that this case, corruption cases should not be more than 3 years. If we have that law, I'm telling you, any judge that has tried the case to, we know how to run the case. That's what I'm talking about.
All right, Prince Wise. Thank you so much. Yeah.
And that is to tell me, finally, the Benue State Governor and the Fubara, they are not tactical at all. If you know how to manage your when you are able to get to power, it is when you win second time, you can stand in 3 years at Mama now. But now, they must be tactical.
Let me ask you, Prince Wise, do you like what Governor Usman Ododo is doing? Is that tactical, supporting his godfather?
Ododo is go beyond. When we are talking of corruption, the money that the alleged taking billion from your state money, and if you get the money to this, you use the money to pay salary to the fellow state, and that's that. No, that's not type of.
All right, tactical you are talking about. Okay.
That's why I say, that is quite different.
Okay, thank you, Prince Wise. All right, thank you. 0913600410. Hello, good evening. All right, it's a Political Roundtable. mainland 98.3 FM. I think let's just take some messages on Facebook. We have Joseph Shockingston who is saying, good day Nigerians, EFCC is like a smile. I don't know, it is contagious and humans are the only animals that display it. Yeah, it is questionable on what makes common an animal. Silence, communication instinct. I don't know, you confuse me completely, Joseph Shockingston, with your message. But you said secondly, EFCC made every man listen twice, that the ambition behind backing the nation cake goes beyond cat, dog and owner. Honestly, I'm sorry, I've tried to read the message before trying to read it now, and unless you want to reframe or restructure that message, Joseph, I'll be happy to take it definitely. We have Dayo that was saying, good evening, crew. The Bible says the sinners run it when no man pursue it, but righteous is as bold as a lion. If Yahaya Bello doesn't have skeleton in his cupboard, why is he running from EFCC? I believe he's copying his role model in Abuja, running from debate, interview, also delegating the questions given to him. That's from Dayo Dadav, I suppose from Fubara. We have a Bilade Ambo who is saying, the last time I checked, the EFCC is not a masquerade drenched in palm oil. So I see no reason why the self-acclaimed white lion of Kogi State should be afraid of the EFCC. We're wondering too. We have Bright Okon saying, good evening everyone. I just want to say that it's written in the Bible,